I just want to say welcome everyone and thanks for joining this free webinar on the core four emotions and how we can ride this time more fluidly. So the way I start anything is let's just put our hands on our heart and breathe. It's the best starting place. So, and the breath I find most helpful right now is in through the nose, out through the mouth. So, and you can see how it really runs your energy. Immediately takes you out of your head and back into your heart and your core. 3 breaths like that can totally change your state of being. So, I always say if you have your hands on your heart, that is an automatic nonverbal signal to your whole self that you want to speak from here, not up here. And as we all know or may not, we're all taking that trip from our heads to our hearts. And that's what emotions and feelings are all about. And the mind has hijacked this game, and the thinking has gotten us into the predicament we now call our world. And so it's the heart that's going to take us out of it, walk us back out. And so welcome. Thanks for joining us. We just got going here. So what we're going to do today, I really felt called to do this because it's time and it's timely. And I really stream this down so it's so darn simple. I always say I don't want to play in hard anymore. I want to play in heart. So let me just share a little bit about my story, because people always kind of wonder, well, how'd you get here? You know, at least I do. And just in a nutshell, I grew up in a family of 10 kids and basically chaos and abuse. I was the third oldest in the lineup, and there was 5 girls in 6 years. So really, there was no room, physical or emotional or anything. You were basically a number in a worker bee. And so I remember the first time I'm a little 2-year-old, and my dad became his anger. He didn't feel it. He became it as a state of being. And eventually that's what took his early life. That's what I say. He died of his anger, with complications, diabetes, but basically the same thing. So anyway, I'm standing there as a little open-hearted 2-year-old, just curious about the world. And then he became that anger, and that energy came on me. And I remember going, wow, this doesn't feel good. I never want to feel this again. And then I made another belief. I said, I never want anyone else to have to feel this again. So that's a pretty strong imprint to put into your unconscious mind as a 2-year-old. And I'm sure it got reinforced time and time again every time I experienced that or felt it. So anger is one of the core 4 emotions. And we're going to talk about these 4. You don't get out of them. They will be had. So let's kind of just breathe into that, remembering that these are essential on our journey here. And there is gifts with them. They're not to be feared, but it is about us feeling it, not becoming it. And what we are afraid of is the people that became it. And that's really what didn't feel good. So we're going to kind of tweeze that apart starting off. Fast forward, I graduated and, went to college, got married, 2.2 kids, a house in the suburbs, blah, 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 and basically lost myself, trying to please others because I got lots of signals that who I wasn't okay. This kind of quirky personality, imagine when my dad ran it like military, this didn't fit in very well. However, when my world came crashing down in 2004, and that was my wake up, I always say it was my greatest gift because that's when I really went inside and started doing my healing / holding work. And people would always ask, okay, what do you feel? And I remember looking at them going, you got a menu? I really wasn't even sure what my choices were because they were never that clear to me. And I'd gotten so many signals that they weren't, the ones I did feel weren't okay to have. So it really became this gnarled up ball of yarn, if you will. And I remember at one point thinking, if someone could just show me the end, I could start unraveling this mess. So I am very excited about how these core 4 emotions presented themselves on this essential journey home. And the 4 emotions, in case you don't know, is anger, sadness, worry, and remember, we're talking about feeling the energy of worry, not becoming it as a state of being, which is what most of us have done. And then the last one is lonely. So anger, sadness, worry, lonely. So if you kind of just sit with those 4, most of us allowed ourselves to have 1 or 2 of those, and we were okay with them. So I invite you to just kind of sit with that and see which of those 4 you feel okay with. For me, sadness was okay, and lonely. Those were the 2 that weren't as pushed away, or I didn't slam the door on as loudly. So just kind of be with that. And then there's these couple ones we decided for some reason, usually in your childhood, that they weren't okay because they didn't feel good. Because well-meaning adults, teachers, ministers, whoever, became them. And we're little innocent kids. And we're like, wow, that does not feel good. I never want to feel this again. And we slam that door. Now, these core 4 emotions are your golden key to living here, in my opinion. If you can master 4, you master living here. And remember, this whole process we find ourselves in right now is us letting go of a life that we created, and we're moving into just living in the present moment, moment to moment. And these emotions are how you continue to flow and stay in that current now moment. We flip into our mind when we bypass our invitation to have this emotion. So people always say to me, well, Julie, but what about the fun ones? What about joy? What about love? What about happiness? And what I say to that is, we are those things. We don't have to go get them. They really are our natural state of being. But if we don't feel, or we get backlogged with these core 4, they're like heavy coats. Pretty soon they weigh you down and you can't even find the happiness anymore in a moment, or you can't find joy, or you can't be the love you are. So by learning and remembering and dealing with your backlog, if you have any, if you haven't done any work, you will, I guarantee you'll have backlog. It's just a matter of starting to take off those old coats. And then pretty soon you literally lighten up. And you will start to have an experience. It will elicit one of those core four emotions, or sometimes I say a combo pack. But you just feel them in the now moment, and you give them a voice, and you let them go on. They're like air. They go that way, you go that way. So feelings they signal how you literally are feeling. Are you feeling good, or is there emotion? They can be a precursor to the emotion. The emotions then fall behind the feelings. Feelings are the awareness. Emotions are the actual energy that you are to move through. So we go through our day, we have experiences. And what has happened to most of us is that they have come and they trigger this feeling, an awareness of a similar emotion that didn't feel good in our past. So we basically say, wow, this didn't feel good the first time. I don't want to have it. So it bypasses the heart, and we let that energy go back into the mind. And then the mind gets a hold of it and says, oh my, this is not my specialty. Not sure what I should do with this. So it looks in your past as far as what it has done before. And have you ever noticed, if you feel angry with someone, that you just feel more and more and more angry? You can peel off all the times they've done you wrong. But that's because the mind has gotten a hold of that energy, and you now are in something we call loops. They're mental loops. And there's no peace in that. There's no resolving that energy. So at some point we say, oh, I can't think about this anymore. And you just try to distract yourself. And so then the mind would say, well, sorry, that's the best I could do. So all of a sudden it would whistle, body incoming, and then it would give that energy for the body to hold for a future date so that we could feel it, because we don't get out of any of these feelings, or excuse me, emotions. So what we're really dealing with now is that backlog. That is why the bodies are talking so loudly, because the soul's energy has now entered the body. The soul's energy is a very high vibration. It is literally pushing out this trauma energy, this stagnant energy, this dissonant energy, out of every nook and cranny of us. And we are being asked, well, we're not being asked, we're being forced, and I am going to use that word, to feel these emotions once again. And so having some tools to do it in a very conscious way is very supportive at this time. And the biggest one is feeling anger. So anger is an energy that has a lot of it's a strong one. In if we all just close our eyes right now and take a deep breath in, and if we tune into our bodies and ask, body, show me where anger starts with you. Show me how you talk to me about anger. And most people will have it right away. It starts low and it starts rising up like a force. And in my experience, anger is a visceral experience. It likes movement a lot of times, or it likes some voice, or some action, you know, stomping your foot, just going, ugh, or something like that to get the energy out of you. So allowing it to come up, be felt through the heart, give it a voice, and then just let it go on air. And most people don't want to feel anger because they think that if they start to feel it, they will never stop. And that is simply not true. They actually will feel so much better. And we all know when we've finally been backed into a corner and we had our anger, that we felt better. And so the energy of anger actually energizes you. It's suppressing it. It's trying not to have it that makes you feel tired and exhausted. And once you allow yourself to fully feel that energy, oh, and I want to say one other little key thing. This is key because anger is an experience between you and you. It has nothing to do with the other person. It is, they may have elicited or triggered it within you, but it really wasn't about them. It was about an experience had to come forth for you to process through something that you have not felt in your past. It is my experience that these emotions were originally came with us so that it would ensure us to notice quickly where we got caught in the illusion. That's their primary job, is to show us where we were getting caught in the illusion. But by not feeling and by suppressing it and having it overridden by the mind, which namely started happening through Atlantean times, that our operating system got really discombobulated. And so if we are going, as it was in the beginning, it shall be in the end. We're going back to our original state of being a divine human here. And so we must become proficient in what these core four emotions were originally here to do. And they basically are guardrails. They just kind of pop, pop, pop. They show you, nope, you're going off. Oh, that's not true. That's a belief. That's playing in separation. That's playing in judgment, or whatever it is. And that's the key role of these emotions. So getting back to anger, I do have a deck of cards we created so that we could kind of play with these a little bit. So here is anger. Look at anger. He's actually kind of cute. So, but feeling this anger and letting it come up through the heart, the energy come up through the heart, through the throat, giving it a voice and letting it go on air, you actually walk through a vibrational doorway and it raises your vibration. And when you get to the other side, there's actually gifts waiting for you. The gift of anger is clarity, because it lifts you up. Can you see that? So you can see more. You can be more clear. How many times after you've felt anger, you're like, all right, no more. I am not doing this any longer. And you're very clear. And that also gives you a way to step into your power. Remember, anger is not used as a suppression tool. It is used as an energy movement tool. That is its original purpose, if you will. So that's anger. The next core four, or the next one in the core four, we're going to look at is sadness. So sadness is a little more obvious because in society too, we have been allowed especially as women, to shed tears. And there's been certain places where it's been really accepted, like at funerals. Well, at funerals. I mostly at funerals. So, but sadness is a really intimate experience with yourself. And so if we just close our eyes and breathe and ask our bodies, show me how you indicate the energy of sadness. And then just experience what your body does. How does it talk to you? And then if you just let yourself soften your heart and feel that sadness, it's almost like the heart blooms open. You open up your heart, and then you are able to remember you more. That is the gift of sadness. So sadness actually connects us deeper into our hearts. And that's why when we feel sad, we actually get into a deeper, more intimate relationship with ourselves. Now, I'm very particular with the verbiage and how we articulate our words. We always want to make sure and say, I feel sad, not I am. Because I am is a commanding statement. You command the seas with an I am, whatever you put behind it. So it's a direct command, and you're stating it as so. And you don't want to state this as your state of being. You just want to share with all of you that it's time to feel this energy. And so that's one clarifying point I wanted to make. The next one is worry. Here's my worry guy. Isn't he kind of cute? Worry, worry, worry. Again, however, most people were modeled by adults becoming that worry as a state of being. I know that's the way I grew up with my mom. She was always worried about something. And I remember thinking as a kid, wow, it steals all the fun out of any experience because she's always worried. And so there was no room to have joy or just fun in the moment because she was always worried. So I'm sure many of you have had similar. But this little guy can be sneaky because this energy is a little more subtle, if you will. It's not as visceral as anger. It's not as obvious as sadness. So let's just take a moment and connect with our bodies and experience how our body communicates the energy of worry with us. So let's breathe and ask, body, show me how you experience worry with me. And then notice what happens to your energy. And so you almost want to take a snapshot picture of that feeling so that you can identify it quickly. Because it's a slippery slope. There's a fine line between feeling that and all of a sudden being in that state. And a lot of the worry energy that is unprocessed comes out as anxiety in the people out there. If you are starting to feel anxious, then that is a true indicator. You have bypassed your invitations to feel 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of these core 4 emotions. So, worry. And for me, I like to give it a voice. I just kind of, when I hear something or experience something where I feel worried, I just go, oh my, whoof, oof, oh wow, whoof, whoof, whoof. And in that sound, and sometimes I even like to bring it up through my body and out with the sound. It is indicating to every part of me that I am feeling this. I am not going to become it as a state of being. So you can play with that however that works for you, but just going, oh my, ooh, woof, 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 that you're moving that energy. So whatever works for you. And the gift of worry then is it lets you look around and find your strength in you. So the feeling the worry versus becoming it as a state of being and not having this, what we call as anxiety, is a way where we really start to capture this core strength within ourselves. If you just pause for a moment and just peruse something you might feel worried about. Everybody got something? Because it's not hard. Now, instead of thinking about that, because remember, if that energy rises up and bypasses the heart, it goes into the mind. And let me tell you, the mind can have a field day with worry because it can go out in the future. It can find all kinds of reasons to feel more worried as a state of being. Instead, what we want to do is we want to feel the energy. Okay, so let's play with this one, because as more and more things change in our external world, this one's going to be a biggie. And to master this energy of worry is how you're going to glide through this or not, in my opinion. So everybody just close your eyes and just kind of peruse something that you might feel worried about. And then I'm going to have you follow the energy, and let's just go, oh my, whoo, whoo, I feel worried, and breathe. I feel worried. I feel worried. I feel worried. I feel worried. And then watch your body start to relax. I feel worried. And then pretty soon you're like, oh wait, where'd it go? I don't feel worry anymore. So you do it until you feel free again. Body has opened up and relaxed. Your body is your telemeter. It will tell on you if you're not feeling your emotions. So pay attention to yourself. How are you experiencing you? Whenever you're getting stress in the body, I'll guarantee you've bypassed your invitation you got to feel worry, or 1, 2, or all 3 of these other core 4. That's how we get into anxiety. And then people say to me too, well, Julie, what about fear? And I like to put it in, there's almost 2 kinds of fear here. There's the fear that is healthy, that is here to keep us safe. But the fear most people play in is the fear of the mind. That is of the mind. And again, if you bypass that invitation to feel anger, to feel sadness, to feel worry, to feel lonely, then that energy has to go bypasses the heart, and all that energy gets caught in the mind. And the mind's job is not to feel, it is to think. So it's going to go find all kinds of ways to deal with that energy through thinking. And that doesn't resolve anything, and thinking will not move you any longer in this space we are at now in this ascension process. So if you find yourself in fear, just stop, put your hands on your heart, close your eyes, take a breath. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3. Usually by 3, you have a magic centeredness back to yourself. And ask yourself, what is here to feel? You go through that feeling, emotional energy. You do it consciously. You let it go. And then your body relaxes again. And so we don't have to be ruled by that old unconscious fear any longer. But in order to do that, we have to be conscious of where we are at, tracking ourself and ourselves. So the last emotion is probably one of the most avoided ones too, and that's lonely. See, lonely. And if you've been on this journey at all and aware, even as to whatever degree, most of us know this one well. Because I remember growing up in a family of all these kids and looking around going, how can I feel lonely when there's all these people around? Because I equated loneliness with being alone. But you could feel lonely anywhere. And lonely is, again, kind of an oxymoron, because if you feel lonely, most people try to grab for their text, their phone, reach out to somebody so they don't feel lonely anymore. However, if you just put your hands on your heart and breathe and go, wow, I just feel lonely. Wow, I feel lonely. Wow, I feel lonely. And then pretty soon you don't. And the gift of loneliness is this. This is priceless. It connects you deeper to your soul. So most of us, or let me say this first. Remember, the soul got caught in the illusion as well as the human, through in and out of these incarnations. So when the soul separated from all that is, what do you suppose was the first emotion the soul experienced? The first cut is the deepest. You know, this is soul deep. And this keeps people in relationships that don't work, jobs that aren't fun, hanging around people they don't want to hang around, because the fear of being lonely feels so insurmountable that they're willing to suck up the pain of staying in whatever situation they are in. And this one's really going to be asked to be known because of this. This is how we connect deeper to our souls, by actually feeling that energy of lonely. Because bottom line, who has been with you when you were 2 and you felt scared and there was no adult advocate for you? You were there with you. It was you, your heart and soul. Who was there when kids were picking on you in the playground or girls were being mean to you? It was you and you that got yourself through that. So you have always been there for you. And it is so important to consciously know that, oh yeah, I am here for me. I cannot do anything with someone's thinking. I can only connect with my heart. And if you're not in this space, to me, it's like Charlie Brown's teacher right now. Because there's nothing there. There's nothing that will move. There won't be any more energy. So this thinking energy is dissolving out of the planet. And if you aren't firmly connected in your heart and willing to navigate these, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Now, the good news is, the more fluid you get in emotional speak, the quicker, faster, easier they are. They come, you have an experience, you feel, oh yeah, this is sadness. I know you. Come on in. And you feel it, it's gone. It's not, it's like breathing. It's not even a deal anymore. But when we first start out, it's like riding a bike. You have to really kind of pay attention how to balance, and then how do you make that turn so you don't turn it too sharp. You know, that's what it's like when you're getting reacquainted with these core four. So let's see, is there anything else? I'm gonna, oh, you guys can unmute yourself. And if there's, I'm gonna open it up if you have any questions or comments or situations you'd like me to support you with. Does anybody have anything? No? Okay, well, I hope this has supported you in just clarifying, feeling, we're always going to feel. Even if there isn't one of these core four emotions, we're going to always feel. We are going to feel our way home here. And feeling comes through the body and the heart. So step one is to get acquainted with your body again. Make sure you're firmly grounded in your body so that you and your body can speak the same language, which is feelings. And then allow yourself to have an intimate experience and a relationship with your heart, because your heart has always been there. And any perceived hurt we've ever had was really because we betrayed our own heart. If we get really honest with ourselves, much of the anger we have experienced with others is really anger with ourselves. We are angry that we ultimately betrayed us. We didn't listen to this beautiful heart. And it is important to be honest with yourself so that you can say, wow, I'm just really angry that I stepped myself aside for another. I sacrificed, if you want to use that word, my well-being for someone else's. I always took care of other people instead of having self-care. But that's what's really shifting here. We are at a time where you must put self first. For the love of self, and that's all caps. For the love of self, I say no to you. For the love of self, I will no longer participate in your version of the illusion. For the love of self, I honor me first. And remember, that isn't being selfish. That was a belief that was imposed upon us to keep us small. It is centered in self. And that's where we are to live. And that's where we are, and that's how this new earth is going to be, is having each one of us centered in self, balanced, responsible for all of our emotions. And that way we aren't reactive to another. We can meet other people in neutrality, see their patterns and behaviors clearly, not make it mean anything about us. However, be clear in setting up what boundaries you want with that person, given that's where they're at. It is not who they are, it is their patterns and behaviors. And it's very important to have that clarity. So I hope this blessed you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. If you are interested in going deeper with us on this journey of the core four emotions and just really getting proficient and staying aware of what's happening with the energies. Remember, April's all about a month of unifying. So there's a lot of things that created separation here, and a lot of things that we created separation within ourselves that will be highlighted. And that could feel intense at times. So I do soul light mentoring sessions one-on-one. If you are interested, you can email me through the website, and we can set a time up. We do it via Zoom. I also do past life clearings, all kinds of stuff, emotional releasing work, trauma releasing work, whatever is on top to get you clear and in this present now moment. And by coming to this webinar, you receive $25 off your first session. So, and I know who signed up, so you don't even have to worry about a coupon code or anything like that. I just honor it. The other thing is we have a year-long 2019 Soul Alignment and Heart First Living webinar. It's bi-monthly. That means we do 2 a month. And that is a group of people that have committed to live heart first here. And we get together, we all commune with our energy. Everybody gets to participate and share experiences and their soul's energy. And then I share whatever wants to come in, you know, whatever wants to be spoken. And that too is on the website under Soul Alignment webinar. I hope this blessed you today. I just want to let you know that you already are perfect. You already are whole. You already are there. There's just things to move through and feel. So have a great night, everyone. And thanks for putting up for this with the snafu. You know, this energy, it's just doing its own thing with technology. So we just got to roll with it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.